And you sent me the dissertation, which I sat down and got prepared to read. And then I opened the PDF and realized it was 200 plus pages. But I did take it and put it into ChatGPT, ask it to summarize it for me. So let me just give you the you and the audience. The first paragraph here is hip-hop DJs as techno-cultural signifiers. And the study examines how DJs transitioned from physical venues to digital platforms, leveraging Twitch's features while forming communities. As you can see, I'm terrible at reading, so I couldn't do 200 plus pages. How does that sound? Did they nail it or what?
They did a good job.
Yeah.
They, as in like all the coders behind AI.
Yeah, whatever AI is, I don't know.
Well, all right. Battle raps, cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so...
Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Very special guest in the building. This is a first-time monumental moment for the podcast. Not something I expected, but we do have a doctor in the building. Hip-hop culture studier, researcher. Let me just, there's a couple things we got to break down here, because you sent me your dissertation. Let me actually see, I'm nervous now. I don't even know how to intro someone as professional as you. I got like bottle servers and bartenders on this couch most of the time.
We need everybody.
First and foremost, Dr. June Macon, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. You did a dissertation, which, if we're going to be honest, what even is a dissertation?
Okay, so dissertation is basically at the PhD level. It's your research project that will then make you into like a doctoral candidate and then a doctoral person, like having your PhD.
Okay, so this was your big, huge project.
This is my big project.
And you did it on Twitch DJs. Which, how did that even come about? I feel like it's such a niche thing. Like, how did you even decide you were going to write? How is there even 200 and something pages of information to write about Twitch DJs? Like,
yeah, good question. Okay, to be fair, I really didn't even know Twitch like that at first. But it was, I started my PhD at UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago, in 2016. So you have a few years of just coursework, and then you start doing like an exam period, which is really intense. And then if you pass the exam period, you can move into your research. So one of my classes was a methods course, and my friend who's a DJ was in town. He was performing, and it was during one of my classes, and I wanted to miss my class so I could go out with them. And so I just decided to write my paper on that experience of participation, like a participant observation of my friend who, he's now in Vegas, but his name is DJ Bonix. He's the tour DJ for Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
And so I was not going to miss the opportunity. I think it was Wiz's first time ever DJing. And he was DJing at, Joy District. And so I was like, no, I have to go to this. This is going to be so fun.
Wait, so this was 2016, 17?
No, this was 2019, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't him at Joy District. I think this was, I don't know. Every time they're in town, I like hang out with Bonix because he's one of my friends from like when I was in college.
Nice.
Which is now a long time ago. So that's how it started. I was skipping class.
You were skipping class and you had to make up for it by saying that you were doing research.
Yeah, so I did. I wrote a whole paper about it.
So even doctors like skip class and stuff. This is good
I'm not going to
information
recommend it. And now that I'm a professor, like I'm a lecturer at Chicago universities, I'm not going to say kids don't skip class. Yeah. But also it provides some opportunities if it's, sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah. How was the night? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. It's always a good time. So, but yeah, that's how I started with the research. So then my professor was like, I wanted to do research on sci-fi and like AI at first, and my professor told me, you have access to DJs that other people do not have. So you should actually just focus on this. Because it was between two choices. And I was like, all right, you're right. Because I thought she wasn't going to let me do it.
Yeah.
I thought she would never let me research DJs for my dissertation. But she said, no, you need to do this. So that's how it all started.
Okay. And at that point, it's not even about Twitch DJs.
Right. It was just
turned
DJs.
into that through the pandemic.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you followed the route of the DJs.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what was happening was I was like setting up a tour for myself with all like my DJ friends. Because I'm from Pittsburgh, but I also lived in New Hampshire. And then I have friends, like everybody just kind of goes everywhere as you grow up. So I was like setting up myself to go to LA, be in Chicago, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, like all different types of places. And then the pandemic was coming around in Asia first. My parents lived in Asia at the time. And I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? We didn't know at that time it was going to be here in the States, right? We all thought like, oh, okay, it's just in Asia.
Yeah, it was like a meme internet thing. I remember being at Chipotle with my dad and my brother, and my dad's like, oh, you guys see this COVID stuff? And we laughed at him. We're like, yeah, Dad, come on. It's like another internet thing.
Right.
And then like a week later, we couldn't leave the crib.
Like shut down. So exactly. At that time when we got shut down, I was doing my exams. And I was like, wait a minute. What's going on here? So then I started following what the DJs were doing, and I set out a survey and was surveying all the DJs to see where they were going and like where they were going to perform and what venues they were at. And one by one, people were saying Twitch. And so I was like, all right, let me get on Twitch. And then I started watching Twitch. And this is like when it first happened, like when it was first going down. I was able to capture it all. And that was really cool. So then I wrote my first book chapter that was like published about DJs kind of switching over to Twitch, and then that rolled into being able to follow DJs on Twitch and then write about it.
Okay, sweet. And you sent me the dissertation, which I sat down and got prepared to read, and then I opened the PDF and realized it was 200 plus pages, and I said, you know what, maybe I'll just have her come on and tell me about it. But I did take it and put it into ChatGPT, ask it to summarize it for me. So let me just give you the you and the audience. The first paragraph here is the dissertation, Hip Hop DJs as Techno-Cultural Signifiers, which, let's stop there. What is a techno-cultural signifier?
It's basically a signifier is something that amplifies or shows like what's going on.
Okay.
Like it's signaling something is happening here. And so like technoculture is basically what people are like becoming, or like the culture around technology.
Like going from the club to Twitch, which
basically,
is a technology advance in the world of DJing.
And it can happen all throughout anything.
Right.
Right. So it's just like focused on hip hop DJs.
Hip hop DJs as techno-cultural signifiers, participatory culture, labor, and the affordances of Twitch.tv by June Mia Macon. Explores how hip-hop DJs adapted to Twitch.tv as a performance venue during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the study examines how DJs transitioned from physical venues to digital platforms, leveraging Twitch's features while forming communities and navigating its digital economy. As you can see, I'm terrible at reading, so I couldn't do 200 plus pages.
Yeah.
How does that sound? Did they nail it
job.
or what?
They did a good job.
Yeah.
They, as in like all the coders behind AI.
Yeah, whatever AI is. I don't know. You have knowledge of AI as well?
Yeah, I do.
That's cool. I wanted to ask you about that too, so I'm glad that you got all sorts of knowledge for us here. So this also says that you interviewed 30 DJs, and I asked them, the coders, which DJs. Bonix isn't even on here. You didn't interview him?
No, I interviewed him. He was like an early interview for like practice. It was like a pre-interview, and he actually was on Twitch for such a short period of time. And so by the time I was ready to like interview people, he no longer was like on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was doing
He was back on tour. So he didn't follow, like he wasn't a part of my criteria any longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the first interview here, number one, is a friend of the podcast, our boy Genius.
Yes.
How was that?
That was great.
Yeah, he didn't make you cut anything out. We had a pretty long interview with him where we had to cut a bunch of stuff out.
No, I also sent him some things, and he was like, "This is great, go for it."
Nice.
Yeah, but actually, Boy Genius was the only in-person participant that I did it in person with him, and then I also was like doing an analysis of his production, like in his home studio, and so that was really cool to see him perform live on Twitch from his home studio. So he gave a lot of insight, actually, from my research.
Yeah, he's one of the very few DJs that's still on Twitch. There's a couple people, I don't even know if
there's a lot of DJs on Twitch still, but from Chicago, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, in comparison to like everyone being on there during the pandemic to now, I think it's like Audio One, I know, is still doing streams. Boy Genius still doing streams. I see Fashion from time to time on there. I think like through the Scam Artist or HMC page. And I don't know, is Scene still on there? Do you follow it at all anymore?
Yeah, I still follow it. I can't recall if Scene's still on there.
I know he was crushing.
One of my favorites was DJ Charisma, and I didn't get to interview her. She's from the East Coast. She's still on because I'll watch her because it's just cool to see all these amazing DJs that you never would have the opportunity to otherwise.
Yeah, and it's a whole nother level of creativity with a stream because yes, you're doing the music and everything, but then with the stream you get to do graphics and there's like different sounds and there's triggers and there's like it's a whole nother level of expanding your brand and brain to create stuff. You're creating this whole world for people to watch you in.
Right. So that's what I talk about with the affordances of Twitch and how it allows for people, but only if you're able to, like if you have the technocultural ability, like to do those things, which was why I was saying like DJs are signifiers for technocultural creativity, because I feel like, so from the gate, like foundationally, hip hop is what I focused on, right? So we have, obviously Chicago is known for house music, but with hip hop specifically, the cultural perspective was that it was created by Black and brown people from the gate. And then to talk about the creativity of these people and how transformative it is, not just to hip hop, but to so many other spaces. I think that was like really important for my research. And so it just continued on where it's like, hey, these people are very like capable and actually are like signifying changes in what's happening, not just in hip hop, but in like all of culture and Twitch culture specifically. Because look at what they did. They changed their whole spiel about having DJs on there. And now they're doing the DJ program, which I have my own feelings about.
What, the Twitch's DJ program where you can't play like certain music or whatever it is?
Well, they're trying to roll people into it, right? Like they want DJs to be there so that they can recognize them and have them a part of it. And the music industry wants to have their money too. So I talk about it a little bit. I have like a piece that I'm writing right now, but it's almost like they're trying to eat up the culture and have it a part of it.
Yeah, that's what every big company does. Once money's involved, that's what happens to anything. It's crazy. Yeah. Money ruins anything.
Yeah, capitalism is an interesting it's an interesting structure.
Yeah. I feel that. I think like DJs as a community, we all kind of feel like just to become a DJ is sort of like you just jump in and you figure it out as you go, and like then at some point you get success and you're a DJ now. No one teaches you how to do it. You can go to, they have schools and things now, but you just learn the basics and that's really it. To really become a DJ, you're the kind of person that just figures shit out. Yeah. And that is what really transfers over to everything else in the world of DJing. Like every DJ I know can use Photoshop and edit videos and do production stuff, and then like there's a bunch of guys that build studios and do woodworking, and it's just like anything that they need to do, they're just like, I'm gonna do it, I'll figure it out, because that's what their whole career was born of.
Just this like entrepreneurial spirit,
but more like creative, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Some of the DJs that I interviewed, like most of them were educated in some capacity, or they were self-educated where most, like Twitch, most of these people never even heard of Twitch before the like pandemic. And so they had started creating communities to learn. So they would be on these Zoom calls, 50 people plus, teaching other DJs to utilize that platform.
Yeah, and like sharing resources and stuff like that. Yeah, the DJ community is awesome. I've always loved that part of this world, is like going to another city and you hit up a DJ that maybe you've talked to on Instagram a couple times and you guys are friendly, and then he's taking you in his city and showing you around and giving you like a real insight, and you feel like very welcomed, and it's just it's very nice.
I love DJs. I'm not one, but I've thought about going to a like DJ school. There's some people that I think
you want to learn.
I do want to learn, but I can't remember song names for the life of me.
I can't either. You don't need to be able to do that. That's what the computer's for.
I don't know. I just feel like I couldn't even. I don't know.
When you see it on the screen, you know it.
Yeah.
I have like the worst recall with song names. Ever.
Because I feel like I would as well.
And a lot of especially my hip hop, like I came up in the hip hop world. I just DJ'd hip hop shows for rappers and stuff. And like my whole upbringing in hip hop was before you'd take a CD and you put it in your computer, and it was before like the data was there, so it would just come up track 1, track 2, track 3, and I would name these songs myself, not even knowing what the names are, because it's like a burn CD or something that I got. So half the song names from like my early years of DJing are not even the actual song names.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I bet you there's actually a lot of people who've done that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. If I start DJing, I'll let you know. But actually, fine. That's how I met Bonix. Is I was a radio DJ in college, and I had this is a story of me skipping everything. I skipped one of my shows of my own radio DJ show. It was I did jazz and blues on Wednesday nights from 6 to 9. It was called Jam Sessions. And Usher was in town in Pittsburgh playing, and my friend had tickets, and he was like, "You want to come?" And I'm like, I have my DJ show, and I just like left. I was like, hey guys, I got to go to Usher. And then when I went to Usher, Bonix was working for Kiss FM at the time, and he was like interviewing people outside. And I was like, hey, he interviewed me. And then the guy that was receiving it, he had worked at the radio show of my college the year before. And he was like, hey, I know that chick. And so that's how we all met. Like, he's like, she's cool, talk to her. So yeah, that was
nice. Cool. And you guys have stayed in touch ever since?
Yeah, we've been friends ever since.
I'm actually going to Vegas tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you going to go to Hardin?
I'm going to go to Hardin.
Nice.
Last time I went there, I told this story. Do you know who D Miles is? He's a DJ as well.
No.
I think he works with them, so he has like a sponsorship with them, and me and my buddy were in Vegas. He's friends with D Miles, so we met up with him. We went to Hardin. And I thought that it was like he just gets a discount or something. So I was like, give me this, give me this, give me this. I got like a pair of socks. I went crazy. I was completely prepared to pay for it all. I thought it was going to be discounted. And then we get up to the register, and it was like his credit.
Oh,
so like I used up all of his credit on my shit. And I was like, wait a second. My bad. I'm like Hardin socks.
That is so funny. They're like thinking you're gonna get a pre-roll. You're rolling out with like a whole outfit.
Yeah, he thought I was just gonna get like 1 or 2 things. And I was just fucking rang it up.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, that's what friends are for.
Yeah, it was nice. He didn't care.
Yeah, tell him I said what's up when you see him.
Yeah, I will. That'll be tight.
Mm-hmm.
So before you got into the DJ realm, were you studying hip hop before that? You have like a hip hop historian kind of background?
No, I just love. I don't know. So I was a journalism major in undergrad, so that's why I was on the radio show. And then I have my master's. I have 2 master's degrees, but one of them is from Colorado State in communication, and I was like a parent resource blogger in Colorado, and then. I got into PhD program here in Chicago, and that's in communication. So my PhD is in communication. So I just feel like that kind of led me into the type of research I was able to do But I grew up in the clubs. Like, I was clubbing on the East Coast because we had, under 21 clubs. I was like 13 going to these clubs with my older brother and his like dance crew friends. They were jungle dancers, like junglists.
Nice.
And so they were all very protective of me because I was like the little sister. And so that was just my experience from then on. I was like always in the clubs in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. And then when I moved to Pittsburgh, there were some clubs over there. And then, Chicago, like I had a family. My family owns restaurants in the suburbs. And so one of my family members who is no longer alive, he was in the club scene hard. And so he would bring me all the time. And I was like underage.
So when did you come? You would visit Chicago and go do that?
Yeah, I would visit Chicago a lot. Like because I worked for my uncle. So I was at the family restaurant every winter break, every summer break.
What kind of restaurant is it?
Sushi.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Although I saw your sushi video.
I'm not a fish guy at all.
I feel like I should take you.
See, everyone wants to do that. Everyone wants to be the person that fucking breaks the guy who doesn't like fish through.
You don't have to break. There's other things that you can eat that will like introduce you better.
Like what?
So you had a roll? You had a maki?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. I've tried a bunch of stuff at this point. I've tried most recently I tried a scallop, which was
interesting.
Whatever, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't have given you have you just tried like regular tuna?
I tried lobster. I've not in a can tuna.
Yeah.
No.
See, that is the easiest intro.
Tuna's like the fishiest smelling thing
No, it's not.
ever.
No, it's not.
I think Silas brought you spicy tuna, a California roll, and a dragon roll.
Yeah, I may have tried a spicy tuna roll.
Went deep. Dragon roll is like your professional sushi eater.
I don't know what I did.
Because that has like eel, avocado, shrimp. Like I can tell you, I've worked in the industry for like the sushi industry for a really long time. So
what? So you think that just a piece of tuna, fresh tuna, would do it for me?
Yeah.
And you don't think that that's going to be fishy at all?
No, it's not.
Oh, but okay. I always
like
have this conversation. It's fish.
Of course
it
it's
is fish.
Yes.
So how is it not fishy? Like, explain that.
I think when you say the word fishy, it's like it's giving like a smell and like.
Yeah, but not even necessarily bad. Like fishy has a bad connotation, has a negative connotation when you say fishy, to it.
Yeah.
But like, even if it didn't have that, like it is a thing. Some people may enjoy it. Some people may smell it and be like,
I'm one of those people.
This is deliciously fishy.
No, but I'm not sniffing it and being like, yes, this is it. No. But it's the way that it tastes.
There's a texture thing and a taste thing for me. Mm-hmm. So like the scallop didn't taste that bad.
But the texture would be.
But the texture was not it for me.
I would not have recommended
I tried lobster and like that was whatever. It was
that's
just
like
buttery.
You're just going to like a boil and you eat lobster. That's the sushi lobster, same thing.
But just anything that lives its life underwater
under
is
sea.
not for me.
Okay.
I can't do it. I'll continue to try things periodically, but like I don't think that I'm ever gonna change.
You know what? As long as you try, it's okay. I approve.
I was raised on Rice Krispie treats and Fruity Pebbles. Like I didn't develop the taste buds to handle these extravagant flavors. If it's not processed and packed with sugar, I don't know how to digest it.
All right. That's fair.
But yeah, what were we?
We were talking about.
Do you remember the clubs that you went to? When you were underage?
Definitely. I was definitely going to Soundbar, Vision, like anything Asian. I'm Korean.
Okay.
So and my uncle's Korean and all the guys that I would roll with. So it was like Vision Asian night.
Soundbar is still to this day rockin' and Asian.
I love that. I haven't been there. I feel like because I went there so often when I was underage. I shouldn't say that. Not underage.
Well, that's all right.
Younger. I'm way older now. So younger. I just haven't really been. But also after like my family member, he was actually murdered in the city. So I
really?
haven't
I'm sorry
been.
to hear that.
It's it's been a couple years. So Yeah, so I like never went anymore. So I want to say like all the bars with the Sound Bar, Y Bar, like what else? What's across the street from Sound Bar?
Spy Bar.
Spy Bar.
Yeah.
Spy Bar had a photo of my uncle there after he passed on the wall. Like that's how often he went there.
I feel like I remember when this happened.
Yeah, and it was 2018.
He was like an industry guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember. Did it,
Like
it
recently,
happened over
around
here, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We don't need to say where you were at, but
Yeah.
in Chicago. Yeah, it did. Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And he was like big. Everyone in the industry. He was definitely older. Like not in my class. I was in a younger class,
Yeah.
but I remember seeing everyone posting, and that's terrible.
That was my family. It is terrible, but also like I can't dwell on that. His killer was never found. We have our own suspicions as a family, but yeah, that's like why I don't really go to those clubs anymore.
That makes sense.
But I definitely was running amok in those clubs, like acting like I owned it because of him, which is always a good time. But that's kind of like what generated my love for not just Chicago, but music. And he was a big house person, and I would always go to the hip hop floor. So I would like leave.
You were in the basement.
I was
He was
definitely
in the main floor.
Yeah. Yes. So what like other clubs were like underground, just any in that little area, you just pop all around.
Yeah, it's that little corner itself, like Sound Bar, Spy Bar. That's really all that's left. The Y Bar is still there. Yeah,
I don't even know anymore.
That little corner still exists, but like River North is on its last leg. But they have a shot at coming back for sure.
I just think there's a different appeal after like my favorite places now as like an older woman. I love Money Gun. Like
Money Gun's dope.
one of my favorite places. And just the DJs that are there. Like I love the music that they're playing.
Mm-hmm. It's all hip hop, right? But like
Yeah.
old school, underground, like
Yeah.
fun R&B, sing along.
Yes. Also, I like love Blind Barber still.
Blind Barber's dope. Yeah, and all like the West Loop is where it's at.
Yeah.
That's the new spot now.
We don't need to tell everybody about it. Don't go there.
You don't want to overflow it.
Yeah.
You don't want to
No.
blow it up too much.
Yeah. I don't.
Have you been to what's Nils's restaurant?
Oh, Trilogy's there. It's oh no, you're talking about the sushi place.
Yeah.
Escobar?
It's Esco is above it.
Yeah.
It's Como. Have you been to Como?
Oh wait. Oh no. Maybe. Sometimes I pop into places and I don't realize what it is
Yeah.
unless I take a photo and like
Okay.
proof.
Yeah.
But it sounds very familiar.
It's right across Halstead from Oshaval. It's on the corner of Halstead and Randolph right there.
Okay, maybe not. I think maybe I've just driven by it then.
We had Nils on the podcast and he told us the whole story of how he met the sushi chef there and the dude that he partnered up with who used to come buy fish from his pet store, and it was great.
I'll have to check out that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's what like the thing about Chicago is there's always something going
Yeah.
on.
Well, so you were visiting here and partying. When did
Yeah.
you officially move here?
I officially moved here not until I was older. So I lived in Colorado for 9 years when I was married and I was like having kids. And then I got into grad school at UIC and also was going through a divorce. And so then when I got here, I was like single mom and in my first year of grad school. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Like new decade, new me. So I came here in 2016.
Okay, nice. 2016 was maybe one of the best summers I've ever experienced.
That's
here.
what I hear, which is great for me because I was out at that point. I was like,
Yeah, you
finally
were
free.
enjoying it, right?
Yeah,
you
I
were
enjoyed
experiencing
myself.
it. Mm-hmm. Did you go to Bottle Blonde at all?
Yep, I went to Bottle Blonde. I went to a lot of places. I feel like there was also like a group, and I don't think they're here anymore. It was like a group of guys that were doing a lot of day parties and stuff like that. I forget the name of the group though.
Like hip hop stuff?
Yeah, they were doing a bunch of stuff.
Probably like Protege, like The Good Company.
Yeah,
or
I think it
something
was
like
The Good
that.
Company. But I feel, no, I feel like they're still doing stuff.
Yeah, the good company is
it was
for sure.
somebody else. I want to. Oh God, I forget right now. But there was some really cool day parties as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fremont. Did you go to Fremont brunch?
I don't think maybe once. I don't know. Like that was a lot. That was very loud. Anytime I
Yeah.
went past it, I was like, oh.
Did you Sunday fun day or
I
you
definitely
had
Sunday
class
fun
on
day.
Monday?
No, because grad school is different. You have like more night classes or like
Oh,
midday
nice.
classes. So I definitely Sunday fun dayed.
She came on here to be a doctor and talk about the dissertation, and now we're just talking about Sunday fun day.
Listen, you could be smart and have a good time.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
know?
incredible.
Yeah. So it's just prioritizing
Yeah.
your life. And I'm a person that has, kids too. Like I'm not just.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm highly impressed.
Why, thank you.
I wasn't expecting this.
Oh.
We're getting all.
What did you expect?
You're hitting all the marks here. I mean, I don't know. You sent me a thing that you wrote that's just like so in depth and long and professional and
Yeah.
all these things, and I don't know. I took all my vitamins and my brain powders, and I just wanted to make sure I was able to
That's amazing.
think straight.
You should do that every day, though. You should be.
I do. I just took extra today.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
I did my push-ups to get the blood flowing.
30 minutes later. So Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it all is relative to my research. If I hadn't been doing the things that I always have done, I never would have had the opportunity, which is, like capturing that time. Who knows if it's like what's going to happen after the year of Twitch, like paying for the subsidiary of DJs, because currently they're helping DJs out. Once that's over, we'll see what happens with DJing on Twitch.
They're helping them out, like they're not taking as much of a cut from their streams.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're essentially paying out the music industry to help the DJs in the first year. And I feel like who knows if it's going to extend or not, but it's going to shift once they stop doing that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Are you still into hip hop right now? Like, do you still listen to
Yes.
hip hop, like new stuff? Are you following what's coming out now, or are you kind of like most of the people that love old school stuff and you're just still listening to like Tribe Called Quest?
My Tribe Called Quest is Earth Gang. I listen to different music, I would say. Like I feel like my son is 16, so he like keeps me in with like what they're doing, and sometimes I just like clown on their music.
Is he a Kendrick guy or a Drake guy?
He's I mean, I think everybody was a Drake guy for a long time.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick
Kendrick
him.
he came for the throne.
Yeah. But then Drake came out with this new album, and so I was like trying to listen. I was like listening to a few songs. I haven't had a chance to get all the way through. But it's like that's typical Drake music,
Slow and sexy and
AI. No. No, so actually it's funny that you brought that up because I am doing a conference on Thursday, it's like a mini virtual conference talking about AI, and my panel is a bunch of hip hop scholars, and we're talking about AI and hip hop. And so I got roped in with these like amazing guys that do research. So Dr. Rayvon Fouché is like a leading scholar at Northwestern. And so I work in his humanities and technoscience lab at Northwestern doing research on Black culture, and go from there and like everything else. And then there's a couple other people, Dr. Melvin Villavar from Clemson, and then we have Andy Acosta, and then I want to say Jonathan Govan. He told me how to say his last name, but like how you're saying with Macon and Macone,
Yeah.
it's like Govan or Govan. Anyway, those four guys and myself are going to be talking about AI and hip hop, and they just like we have a piece that we're trying to put out into a journal about it. So
what's happening with AI and hip hop? People are getting their lyrics written for them.
I mean, we've seen it happening, right? We saw it with FK Mecca like a couple years back, and just I think it was like two white dudes that were kind of using this virtual, AI tech to create an artist, and I think that backfired on them.
Didn't they? I think they also were orchestrating the Weeknd and the Drake's AI song that went viral for a second.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know.
So it was a duo, I think, that wrote a Weeknd song, and it sounded so much like him that he had to come out and say, "I never wrote this."
Yeah.
This is me. It started a whole thing.
So it's interesting. So we talk about that a lot in the research. And there's been some studies in like other countries that have talked about AI in hip hop. And I talk about it from the perspective of like we talk about domestication, like that DJs, because they're so technically savvy, they domesticate AI in a sense where it's like an everyday thing. Like for me, with my research with Twitch DJs, they were domesticating AI, using it for bots and like, using moderators and like AI bots.
When you say domesticating, you mean like using it to their advantage, like using it as a tool.
Using it as a tool for everyday use, right? Okay. So with Boy Genius, for instance, he was using AI to create his venue, right? Mm-hmm. So he would put like Cityscape coffee shop because he does coffee breaks, This is a plug for him. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But he uses AI tech for that, right? And it's like, ain't no thing. Like, they're using it every single day. And so I talk about how with the techno creativity of DJs, like AI is just another tool, just like you use like your Serato or anything else that you're using. And so there are some things that are negative that can happen with AI, but there's so many positive things that can happen, and just making your creative art better. And just utilizing it as a tool, as long as it's still authentic to the artist and someone's not trying to do like another version or like a different form of like blackface, right? Like where you're pretending you're this other thing or like mocking something or whatever it may be, or not like owning up to it.
Is that like, that's upsetting to people that white dudes were using AI to create Drake's music? That was like a form of blackface.
I don't know if it was necessarily Drake's music, but it was like the FK Mecca thing, where it's like two white dudes creating like a black avatar and acting like this black avatar is creating this music, because that's not your culturally. Yeah. And then you're putting it out as though it is.
Yeah. Did anybody ask them why they didn't just make themselves a white artist?
No, I don't know. That's a great question though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just felt like they'd sell more records if they were black.
Probably. That's my assumption. I don't know though, because I never like talked to those people.
Yeah.
But I think that there's this thing. If you want to get really scholarly, there's a woman. Her name is Lisa Nakamura, and she is a professor at University of Michigan, and she writes about cyber types, which is basically stereotypes but in digital spaces. And so she created this term. I think it was her. Maybe it was somebody else. It's always somebody else, because these things have been talked about for actually a really long time. But she talks about identity tourism, where people will like use an avatar to try out and try on other people's culture. And so it's almost like that was a identity tourism for these people. Well, I don't know. It's an assumption because I don't know them, of trying out like what it would be to be a black artist.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how, that's like so far outside of anything I could even imagine. Like what they're trying out. I don't even understand the concept.
It's like, have you ever, whenever you're gaming, right? Like, what do you choose to be?
Oh yeah.
If I'm playing Fortnite, most of the time I'm a girl.
Okay.
What does that say about me?
How are people engaging with you when you're a female?
They're trying to kill me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the premise. That's the premise. But maybe there's an assumption that like you would be easier to kill on Fortnite, and so it gives you an advantage because you're, whatever. I don't know. Like,
I personally think the hitbox is smaller because the body of a female is smaller.
Okay, so then you're using it for your advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that
it's strategic use though?
Strategic for me in my mind, yes. But would some people look at that and be like, that's
identity tourism.
Yeah, that's like terrible. Oh my God.
No, I don't. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. We don't have to use these terms in a negative way. It's just something that happens.
Okay.
Right. But what is the negative part is like, oh, okay, so maybe those guys were using FK Mecca as a strategy to have better ratings or, more people purchasing it. And so that becomes a little more shady. It's like.
But isn't it like, wouldn't it be, I feel like there's an argument for either side on both sides. It could be like, they could be like, no, we didn't want to infringe on black culture by being white in it. You know what I mean? They're like, but we wanted to make a black guy so he fit in more. And it was,
that's a red flag to me.
Is it?
Yeah. Because there's white people in hip hop too, very successfully.
Yeah, of course. But there's people that like, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, as of more recently with the whole insanity of the world and the whole culture war, race war, like media driven fucking craziness, sometimes I feel like black people don't even want me listening to their music anymore. I'm like dead ass, and I fucking grew up on hip hop. I've Godson tattooed across my stomach.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, Nas.
Yeah, exactly. And now I feel like I have to get it removed. No.
Did Nas write you like a cease and desist? He's like, nah, you can't.
You didn't get the message.
No, I think that's true, too, right? Okay, so the first album I ever purchased when I was younger was Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. When Lauryn Hill talked about Koreans doing people's nails, and I felt like that was a dig. Like, I was like, wait a minute, does she not want Asian people to listen to her music? But that's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that at the end of the day, if you're respecting the culture.
Yeah.
But maybe some people don't want you to listen to their music. You never know.
I feel like these days sometimes that's how it feels to me, and I'm like, all right. I mean, I like house music too, so I'll go listen to Dom Dalla. I don't know. It
might be true. I think it's individual. I think everything is individual in that case.
Course.
Yeah,
and everything's blown out of proportion, and everything is now just communicated across digitally and in short, out of context clips, and like there's so much more that goes into it, of course, but I mean, sometimes that's how I feel, for real.
No, I can respect that. I'm a person who's Asian studying hip hop, and like if in my research, the most there's like one Korean DJ that I interviewed, and I was like looking around.
Was it Crooked?
No,
Crooked's Korean. Do you know Crooked? I believe he's Korean. See, this is where I get in trouble, though. If he's not, I'm the white devil. But I think he is.
It was. I want to say it was Stress TV.
Okay.
He actually owns a backpack, like a DJ backpack company.
Oh, nice.
With another DJ that I interviewed. Who is it? Oh, I can't recall right now. But DJ Alpha Music. They're all both on Twitch.
I got all the names of the interviewees here.
Alpha Music. But actually, so most the Asian DJs were Filipino.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge Filipino culture.
Big Filipino presence in hip hop,
yes.
I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. But you would never know it unless you were like digging a little bit more or part of the culture, because it's not like Asians are really represented in hip hop all that much in like mainstream hip hop specifically.
Yeah. Well, what about what was the rapper Jin? You don't know Jin?
I don't really know Jin.
I feel like he had one big hit in the 90s, and he was like the Asian hip-hop guy.
J-I-N, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No?
Look it up.
We'll look it up.
Crooked's he is Korean American.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah. He does the Road podcast.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's that's probably the biggest DJ podcast for sure.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know everything.
I got you.
Yeah. I'm always open to learn more. So
yeah, the Road podcast is dope. But I wanted to ask you this, as an avid club goer and music lover, and somebody who obviously understands and has taken to DJ culture, do you think that any point in the future our jobs are threatened by AI? Because there's some DJs that really believe that AI is going to take our jobs.
No, I think a lot of people think that AI is going to take everybody's jobs.
That too.
Then nobody's going to be working. People will be like, oh, you're not going to be a professor because AI is going to take your job. I'm like, we are going to have a bunch of really stupid people walking around every single day with no creativity and no artistic endeavor. Like, no, that's not ever going to be the case. AI needs human intelligence. Artificial intelligence needs human intelligence to even exist. It doesn't just like exist out of nowhere. It's
to be created, sure, but you don't think at some point they're gonna get enough of the intelligence where they can run on their own?
I think that there is machine learning that exists, but I don't think anything will ever beat human creativity.
Yeah, and especially creativity, yes, but even more so, I think, like live performance.
Yes.
Right? Like, even as a professor, there's something to being in that room and controlling that room and reading that room and like everything outside of just teaching the lesson. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never.
No, you're
taught,
right. It's true.
Assuming.
It's almost like DJing.
Right.
When you walk into a space and you're like reading the crowd, you have like an idea of what you're going to do, but sometimes it just has to go the way that it goes based off of who's in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could imagine it's the same thing. Like any job where you're performing in a sense, I don't think AI has any shot at taking people's jobs.
I don't.
And
I think that it could in some aspects, but then like positions will change perhaps, and like we will like evolve every time there's like another technocultural evolution. You evolve to it, right? Or you take advantage of it, you use it as a tool. That's what's happening, I think.
Yeah I think so too. And honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if the clubs started using robot DJs, because I think that would drive the real people who I want a DJ for to come to see an actual DJ. I think that they would lose a large audience of people, you know?
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine like seeing a robot. Like what? No.
Or maybe it's not even a robot. Maybe it's just there's no DJ. It's just the music's coming out of the speakers and it's being mixed and it's just happening, and there's cameras in the room that can see the crowd, and they got their thermo vision of what the crowd wants because they could see the sweat beads on their forehead and tell what song they want to hear next.
That's like a dystopian movie.
Yeah. That's what
you just gave them the idea, right?
Yeah, you did.
Well, that's what people
copyright it.
That's already what people are saying is like there's going to be a camera that can look at the crowd or look at someone and know what they want, or it's going to be integrated through your Spotify history on your phone that's connected to the Wi-Fi in the club that now is being read by the AI cameras that knows exactly what you like, and they have a consensus of the room based off of that.
If it's going to happen, Asia is going to do it first. So we'll just see what happens in Asian countries.
We'll keep our eye on China.
100%, like literally China, Korea, Japan, like, yes, just check out what's happening there, especially because they have the ability to do things with technology that we might not be able to do for whatever reason. But like there's surveillance that happens in these countries like China. Yeah, I would imagine something could happen like that perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, like in theory, if you're some guy that sits behind a computer and codes and creates AI and technology and stuff, that is perfect, right? You're like, oh, I can see what people are. I can get into somebody's phone because everyone has access to everything on someone's phone through an app. I could see exactly what kind of music this person likes, and I can get a average of what the whole crowd in this place would like, and I can play what they want to hear based off of that.
It can be its own genre. You've created your own genre then, or whoever has these anxieties about their work. Okay, so then there might be money made in that space, but you can have it all.
I just think that I'm ready for that. That's what we need. That's like the final bomb that's dropped on nightlife. Like nightlife's in a bad place right now, and that would be the final thing to
like,
kill
bring it
it
back
off so that we
Oh,
can.
you're saying to kill it off? I'm saying to bring it back up.
Well, kill it off in the state that it's in now, and then be able to bring it up from this new place, from this underground place, from this like I'm throwing a party in my basement that's not AI. Come hang out with me.
It would be interesting, though, if you had like a space that asked you for your data, like you submitted something and everybody who came into the place submitted something, and then that technology would like give you back what you have like requested and be like the ultimate DJ request club, right? So that would be a total shit show, though, I think, because everybody's taste might be different.
Yeah, and then that's like the thing with requests is people start getting what's the word I'm looking for? Entitled to what they want. They're like, I submitted my request. I came here because you guys asked me what music I like, and I haven't heard enough of the music that I had submitted.
But they'd be talking to the AI, so it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, they'd probably be talking to the manager of the club who would be like, Jesus Christ, I miss having an actual DJ to deal with this. Now I got to deal with this.
Hey.
And then I'd be like, oh, you see what we deal with? All right, let's get the money up. Let's go. I'll come back. Cut me a check.
Maybe DJs should like form a coalition and have that done so that their value can be understood.
I'll be honest. I was all about having a DJ union, and then I actually DJ'd an event on Saturday night at the Palmer House Hotel, and I'm talking to the AV guy about the things that I need to DJ, like a booth monitor, which is a speaker for me so that I can hear what's happening, because I'm in this humongous ballroom with 1,000 people that the speakers are pointed out at them. They're not pointed at me. I need my own speaker so I can hear what's happening. I asked this guy for a booth monitor, and he's like, yeah, we don't have one, or like, I can't get one. I'm like, there's no way that this entire hotel doesn't have like a speaker somewhere that I can use. And he's like, it's a union thing. Like,
union for whom?
The hotel union.
Oh yeah.
Like their AV team is part of a union or something. So I don't know how it works, but for some reason he wasn't able to get me a speaker because I don't know, the event didn't hire enough union people to do their job or something. Like maybe it's someone's job in the union to get the speaker from the room.
That's so interesting.
And if he were to go get that speaker, he would be doing this guy's job, which is not allowed.
No
in the
way.
union.
I'm a part of a union, and that's how it works.
How does it work? He was like,
I feel like that was a cop out. I don't know this person, but
there's no way. It was insane.
Odd.
Their fucking speaker systems. It was a whole thing. I was going to talk about it on the Patreon pod. My experience of the weekend. It was a whole thing, but you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Just the union thing. I was like, this is what unions are. This is why nobody likes unions,
No.
because I can't even get this job done right now because it's a union thing. Like, what? You can't get me a speaker because you're part of a union?
Yeah, no, I feel like he or she or whomever this person is.
It was a guy named Steven.
Oh, you're outing Steven. I am a part of a union, and that's not but my union is very different. It's for like grad students.
It's got to be different because it's like that's everyone's complaint about like a Chicago construction crew, right?
Yeah.
Is that like there's one guy doing something and everyone else is just sitting around
watching.
Because if you're gonna hire people for this job, it's a union thing and you need to have this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, when really all you need is the one guy who's doing the work.
Well, it's about safety. I mean, we don't have to get into union.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know enough about
Chicago
it.
is the biggest like union city, though. Like, I never saw so many unions in my life until moving here.
Yeah, and I was always about it because I'm for the people.
Am, yeah.
But now that I've been affected,
Steve pissed you off.
Now that I've been affected by the union, I don't know if I'm really about it
for
anymore.
The speaker. Give it another chance. Don't let that ruin your experience. Oh man.
And then at the end of the event, one of the other sound guys comes over and he's like, man, if I knew you were going to be here, I would have brought out like the subs and stuff. And I was like, oh, you didn't know that.
He was the guy. He was the union guy you needed.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what's Steven doing?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Steven was happy that night.
He definitely was.
Yeah, I think he gave you like an excuse.
But he also wasn't doing it. It wasn't like he was so busy that going and doing that would have like thrown off his schedule. He was just standing around.
He didn't want to work that night.
He didn't want to do anything, which,
That sucks.
Is it a union thing? I don't know.
No, it sounds like it's a Steven thing. I'm going to put it on that guy.
Yeah, we'll put it on Steven.
Yeah. No, I think DJs should have some form of protection. It's wild to think, because you all are like individually, unless you have a residency.
Like, what do you mean?
Like a 1099. Like
even with a residency, you're still 1099 from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think anywhere outside of Vegas. I know Vegas does things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even with a residency, you're still 1099. You don't want to be W-2'd. What is it? W-2'd or W-9'd? You don't want to be...
W-9?
Is it 9?
I'm telling you the wrong information. I'm not a tax person.
Okay. I mean, as a DJ, you don't want to be W-9 because you're drinking on the job and you're partying and you're having a good time, and you don't want to be able to have somebody tell you what to do. You want to be 1099.
Okay.
You want to be an
That makes
independent
sense.
contractor for sure.
But I still think you can form whatever union you want, even as independents.
I don't know if it's possible. It's the whole theory is like, sure, we could, all the top guys can get together and be like, all right, nobody's working for less than $1,000. But then what happens when, the bedroom DJ comes to the club and says, I'll do it for $200?
They're scabs. That's why you gotta like be out the door. Like, no, you can't come in. No, I mean.
Just a big old rat outside the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to get more people
The
on board.
inflatable rat on top of the roof.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so maybe it's not possible for DJs.
I mean, anything's possible, right? But how do you prevent that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so with you saying that, it makes me think about what's going to happen for the future of Twitch, actually, because we'll see what happens. The reason why DJs were able to even become a category is because of the community support that they created, and like all these like groups, and like there's so many different DJ collectives. Mm-hmm. And so like those, I guess they are coalitions, like they form, and then it gives them more power and like more community, and then things can get done with more people involved, more people equal power. So we'll see what happens, especially when Twitch changes certain like guidelines or whatever. Maybe like in-person DJs can learn a few things from the online DJs.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah.
I think so.
To be continued with it. I'm keeping a close eye on it.
Are you?
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, keep us updated.
I'll keep you updated. You can have me back on your show.
Yeah. Thank you. Shouts to Long Drink for sponsoring the podcast. Absolutely the best cocktail you can get out there. That's exactly what it is. A cocktail in a can. It's not a seltzer. As you can tell, it's not one of those stupid, long, skinny cans that makes you look like an idiot stick when you're drinking it. This is good stuff. Anyone I give one of these to asks me what it is, where they can get it, and why they haven't had it before. I'm putting people on. You guys are next. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the program. Go to your local liquor store. Target's got them. Wherever you can. Grab a long drink today. Enjoy. Watch the pod. Let's get back to it. Thank you.
I love Chicago history. Like, Chicago club scene history is always so interesting. Like, I feel like there needs to be a book about it.
I love it too.
Yeah, like a coffee table book.
Yeah, there's if you're interested, I had Arturo on the pod, and he ran underground. And
oh my God. I was like, this guy looks so familiar. Why do I know him?
Yeah.
I feel like I met him when I was like 18.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of history. He was talking about like doing, I forgot all the names of the spots, but like one of the first clubs he worked at, Kanye would come around, and Virgil, and just like seeing how Chicago nightlife was such a part of the creativity that came out of Chicago. Like a lot of people don't realize that all that stuff was a part of nightlife and going out and like clubbing and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I learned that from the restaurant part of it. Like my family were like restaurateurs, and so they would be out in the clubs and like hanging out and partying with people. Although Peter always got in trouble, so I'm like, how are you even allowed in these places anymore? But I feel like, yeah, Arturo, I definitely feel like he knows my family members. So it's
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, he's got good stories, a lot of knowledge.
Chicago's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the architectural tour on the river?
I did a kayak tour.
Best.
Yeah, I want to do a bus tour. I did a bus tour in Washington D.C. and that was like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, I should do that in my own city. So I want to do one of those maybe this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There should be a bus tour for club industry.
Like the history of what happened. Someone who would even know all that? Someone would have to like write that.
He's not gonna want to do it.
He could do part of it for sure, but there's got to be even more like in depth, older, deeper.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's recently, if it's still going to, but the place that used to be the Warehouse, where house music originated here in Chicago, I think it's being turned into a museum.
Really?
For that, because I think they're trying to make it a landmark first, and then make it into a museum of sorts to showcase house music culture in the city, how it got started and everything. So
that's cool.
they're doing it on there, but yeah, seeing multiple of them would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like, this used to be Excalibur. This used to be the Mid.
This used to be Excalibur and Castle, and then, oh, the Mid. Oh man.
Yeah, the Mid was awesome.
I had some bad experiences there though. But yes, it was good fun until
what happened? What was bad?
Oh,
we can talk about it. It doesn't exist anymore.
No, I don't want to talk about it. No, I just feel like in the beginning of Mid, it was great. And then like, I don't know, it just got like seedier and seedier.
Oh yeah, that's usually what happens.
Yeah, and like maybe right before it got torn down, I just had like my friend had a bad experience there. And I was like, oh, we're never going there again. And then it got torn down and I was like, that's what you get.
Outside the building, flicking it up.
Yeah, like, no, but it was like just like a patron there. It was not a good situation.
There was definitely a couple monumental moments for me in my DJ career that
at the Mid?
Had to do with the Mid. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was a staple.
It was a sick ass spot.
Yeah. A lot of networking happened in the cigarette smoking area.
Yep. Yep. I actually snuck in the first time I ever went there through that exit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard. I've definitely seen people do like, oh, we didn't see anything.
Yeah. The Century Room, when you like get the door open.
Yeah.
Go upstairs.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
And then you would come outside of it, you'd be on the balcony side of things.
Really?
Yeah. I know that because that's what they used to do, like, for me and my friend. They're just like, oh, yeah, just open up the room to the Century. We'll just go up through there.
Oh, that's funny.
Avoid security.
Yeah. And then come out through the bottom of the Mid.
It's always interesting when you start seeing, like, the back door, side doors of different places. And you're like, oh, this is where famous people go through.
Yeah, it was right by the green room. So you'd actually go by there as well, too. So
yeah.
I mean, the coolest part about night clubs is being in, like, the office or the kitchen or like whatever back area that the staff hangs out in.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. That's where the real party is.
Where nobody else is allowed.
Yeah. Like at Underground, hanging out in the kitchen was the shit.
I wasn't allowed in the kitchen. I never got back there.
Yeah.
I wasn't cool enough. Yeah.
That's where you want to be. I realized that the other day when I was in the office of Liquor Box, because I don't really hang out like that anymore. I just like go work and then go home. But I was there early and I was talking with people. I was in the office and it's just a constant revolving door of people coming in, saying what's up, whatever. And like that's where you want to be. That's the cool hangout.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and I feel like that's missing now. They don't have like, there's not a lot of places that have that cool spot to get into. That like VIP. It's not, when it's set up as a VIP thing, then it's whatever. Anybody could somehow get in there. But when it's like a legitimate place where no one's supposed to be, that's where you want to be, you know?
Yeah, I feel like certain places definitely have that still. I think that they still have it. Do you know Marty's has like a side room people go into?
Yeah. Well, like the
upstairs.
Building where they're building next door. Yeah. See, that's the cool That's like where the cool shit happens. That's where all the gossip happens. That's where you learn about everyone who's fucking up in the industry and getting fired and what they did, getting too drunk
I'm not
the
privy
night
to any
before.
of that information. Nobody's telling me who's going to
All
fire.
the drama. Yeah, I was in the office and I just got all this information. Like, I was like, holy shit, that I forgot what it feels like to be in the office of a nightclub and just get all the dirt.
They forgot you have a podcast.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Now they know. That's the last time I was in the office.
X this part out.
Maybe I'll talk about it on the Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's always people create their spaces, right? Just because you title something the VIP doesn't necessarily make that the VIP for everybody, right? Like people are always going to create their own spaces, whether it's in digital world or in like physical spaces. I think that's part of the creative process of everything. It's always, I don't know, going back to the AI conversation, AI is not doing that.
Right. That's another thing for sure. Yeah. They can't. Yeah. What about that? Where do you like hang out with AI? What makes AI cool?
No, but they try to do hang out with AI, right? They're like, oh, chat with your new like lover. And it's like, no.
I was at dinner with my boys yesterday and my buddy's telling me how cool the voice chat feature of Chat GPT is, where he can just talk to it like it's a regular person. He's like, you have a conversation with it. It's not like Siri where you ask it and then it answers and then you ask and then he's like, you can cut off Chat GPT while it's talking to ask about something that it just said. And he's like, it feels exactly like talking to a human. And I was like, that's terrifying. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just gathering his like more data from that person as well. And, like,
but he's using it. I mean, like, he's a super savvy business guy. He's using it to his advantage for sure. He's what'd you say? Domesticating it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we got cats running around. Those guys are domesticated, you know?
Yeah. I guess you could think of AI like a pet.
Yeah, you can.
You just can't.
Until it then like eats us.
Yeah.
But pets can do that too.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like that the Ray-Ban glasses. I don't know if you've seen
The
them.
meta glasses, yeah.
Yeah, where like they look at something and it'd say like, what is it, meta? When was this made, or where is this originated from? And it'll tell you like, I don't know if it's instantly because of the commercial, but it'll give you like a full lowdown of everything to do with that.
Wow.
It's
I think I
crazy.
would like that though, like that as a tool.
But then on turns, it's like, what if like it does it with people? Like if you say like, oh, you know, this person, and then Zach's face now triggers his whole podcast, social media platform.
Exactly. Yeah.
Crazy.
And they're like credit score, you know, like debt. Like that's when you.
I'm ready.
Not just. But I'm saying for people in general, like I don't know, that would be wild.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, are they looking at my info as I'm talking to them? Like,
Yeah, that's a concern.
I have to use the bathroom real quick. Do you need a water or anything?
I'll take a sip of mine.
All right, I'll be right back. Long Drink is a legendary Finnish favorite that's been around since the 1952 Summer Games. It's a deliciously refreshing blend of premium liquor, natural grapefruit flavor, and just the right amount of carbonation. Honestly, this is the stuff right here. White is sugar-free, blue is citrus, orange is peach, red is cranberry, black is extra strength, and they're all fire. New flavors dropping soon, so watch out for those. And they're just the best sponsor for this podcast. So the next time you're tuning in, make sure you crack open a Long Drink, enjoy one while you're watching the show, because good vibes deserve great drinks. Let's go, champ. We're back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he was making money there and from outside sources as well too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some people were making
A shit ton of money.
chunk.
Yeah, and they're, I mean, still to this day, like DJ Jazzy Jeff is still on there. Scratch Bastard is on there.
Nice.
Like they make a ton of money, right? Like, and they're still on there.
Yeah.
And
But those are always like the big names.
yeah, but then if you think about trickle down effect, like it's still, people are still making good money. It might not, like I interview people to be like, yeah, I'm not making thousands, but I'm making enough to cover my weed habit.
Well, yeah, because there'd be
That's something.
I remember there was groups that would do. I forget what they called it, something train, where like
Raid trains.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they essentially would do their show, and then like at a certain hour, they transfer those the same amount of viewers onto someone else. So they pretty much have like a set schedule.
Yeah.
Which is like a set schedule at a nightclub. Like,
Exactly.
opening, headlining, closing.
But they can just stay at home and make money.
It's still pretty crazy though. That
Work from home. Twitch is the DJ's work from home.
Yes. Yes.
It's nice.
Well, and then, so if you DJ enough, you can become affiliated with them. So basically, you're not necessarily making as much money until you become affiliated with the platform. So once you become affiliated, then it opens up certain affordances for both you and your viewers. And then as long as you're like consistent and you're growing, they'll turn you into a partner eventually. And so then you get a bigger cut and like more affordances. So you can have like more emotes or redemptions or like I said, a bigger cut of the money. And then your followers also have like more options to do things. You can also make money off of advertisements, like commercials, essentially.
Well, I think that's when they give you the liberty to do brand deals.
Yeah, you can do brand deals.
JBL, then it could be like, I don't know, DJ City if they even do that at that point. But like, yeah.
All types of things.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. But it takes a while, from what I know, to even get to that level of partnership, unless you have that type of
name,
following and obviously consistent viewership too.
Yeah, there were certain people who got a phone call from Twitch and were like, do you want to partner with us? Whereas other people, it took them like 3 years to become a partner. And so I had interviewed 30 DJs. There are all types of DJs across the board. And so that was super interesting to hear about. But I think that if DJs capitalized on this opportunity, more money could be had. Because people still don't really know that Twitch DJing exists.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So the last thing I heard about it was that like you couldn't play certain songs. Sony didn't want people playing their music on there. Are there still constraints like that?
I don't know, because when I finished my research, it was before the announcement.
Right.
And like as I was writing up my analysis, that's when it like popped off, because I was about to say like it would behoove Twitch to partner up with these people, because essentially they create like a counterculture that was like underground, and now Twitch is like, oh no, we recognize you, so we're gonna capitalize on that money you're making. And then the record industry was like, we're also going to capitalize on this. So they partnered up and made a deal with Twitch. And so they said it was like the biggest deal ever made for a streaming platform with the music industry in 2024 in the summer.
I could see that.
Yeah. So I don't know if Sony is a part of that or not. There's like a ton of labels though that are.
Yeah. And there's definitely like a shift since then, even that spilled over into like YouTube. Now you can put mixes on YouTube and you don't get your account strikes and banned and whatnot.
Probably because they're trying to battle Twitch. And there's another platform called Kick that started up, and they were trying to battle Twitch. But I think Twitch had laid its foundation, and people kind of hopped in on that.
Twitch is dope. The coolest part about Twitch for me is the community. Even if you have one of those scratch bastards that's got 5,000 people watching his stream, when he's done, he goes and raids someone else, and it could be someone that's got 3 people in their stream, and it's like he's helping them out. And that's what I think really helped build the whole thing, is the community aspect of
100%.
it, which is dope.
Yeah. It was also cool hearing DJs talk about like, oh, because you all are performing typically on the same days, you never get to see each other perform. And so with Twitch, people are doing like off days outside of like industry days. And then it was allowing people to network in other ways.
Yeah.
And like see people perform, and like your favorite DJ, like the DJ's favorite DJ then became everybody's favorite DJ because people are able to talk about it more.
Yeah. And then like, I remember buying subs or dropping bits or whatever in Fashion Stream one night, drunk, after I came home from, I don't know, probably doing whatever. I was drunk. I came home. I'm watching Fashion. It was a good time. And I'm spending a little bit of money, and it felt good. You get that, like, that same thing you feel in the club when you're drunk and spending money. You're like, oh, this is fun. Yeah, I got money. I can spend it. It's like you get that same fun feeling, and then he's shouting you out. It's like the digital bottle service kind of thing, Yeah,
it's true. You're getting recognition from the DJ every time you drop.
Yeah.
Like biddies, they'll do certain things. And I think that there's so much culture going on in Twitch that is not typical of at a club, where you have your regulars and you see them from the screen name and it's just like different, but then they'll see you in the, this is what DJs would tell me, I don't obviously know this, but then they'll be performing live and they'll have these people come to them in real life and be like, I'm so and so, like tell them their screen name.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I know you. Like,
and
what's
they're
up?
like, get away from me.
No, they're like they have this community.
I know,
they're
I'm
like,
kidding.
what's up? I don't know because I've never had an. That's what the DJs feel about me. I'm like watching them, like this weirdo girl is gonna request a song.
There is a weird thing when you put out so much content on the internet that somebody who consumes it feels like they know you.
Oh yeah, there's a term for that. Parasocial. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know.
It's just it's exactly what you're saying. Where it's like a one-way relationship, but on Twitch it's parasocial plus or it's parasocial and a half, where they do actually know you, but by username or by subs or by bits thrown or by the type of redemption. Like you now know somebody, but not all the way.
Yeah. And when you see those people in real life, it's just extremely awkward and like not something you really know how to handle, because they talk to you about something that you don't even remember talking about or something, you know, and you're like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, you were talking about this, and you're like, that's insane. That's
like celebrity right there.
Yeah, but like not, I mean, I guess, I don't know, because like celebrity, you didn't even really know anything about them. There wasn't like before the Kardashians and like the reality TV thing, there was just like movie stars who played characters or whatever, or like you just got a little bit of information about famous people, not like anything personal whatsoever. Now I feel like people are getting recognition for being so personable and authentic to who they actually are, you know? So people know, they do have like a very much deeper knowledge of who you actually are.
Yeah, connection.
You know?
They feel
like a connection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's parasocial relationship right there.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, it's what grows your platform.
It's weird because he's saying this as well too, and I'm thinking it right now. We're on literally a social media platform.
Yeah.
As they watch us as
Yeah.
well.
Right. It's like what you want. It's like what you're going for sure. If you're doing something like that.
But it can be weird.
But it is weird at the same time when it becomes reality in the real world, like outside of this room, you know?
Right. And you're being recognized.
And you're being not even recognized, but just like somebody knows you. You don't know them whatsoever. Like recognize is one thing, but you don't know this person whatsoever, and they know like things about you.
They know what you did yesterday.
Yeah, like you get thrown off a little bit.
You got to work on that. Now that you're a public figure.
I mean, I don't even think it's that deep for me, but even when I was, I mean, like just even being a DJ in the city, sometimes you get that from just DJing all over. People are like, oh, I've seen you DJ, blah, 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 whatever. And you just, I don't know. It gets weird sometimes.
I definitely know. I feel like I've weirded a bunch of people out.
Well, the alcohol helps on both ends for sure. If you're both drunk, then it's like, oh yeah, cool.
No, I definitely have weirded people out because I was like studying DJs. I'm like watching. I remember there was this one time early on, and I was out with my girlfriends. I forget where we were at. Some club, and I was just like watching the DJ because I was still trying to figure out like what do I want to research in terms of like what DJs are doing. And this guy was like, he doesn't take requests. And I was like, I'm not requesting. I'm just watching. And they were like so weirded out that I was just like watching them perform. And I told my friends about it, and they like just made fun of me forever after that. Like, June, don't be weird. Like, don't watch the DJ. I'm like, okay, well.
It's like, I don't want to request. The guy's just like, hey, what did she want?
I know, seriously, that I was like weirding that person out in particular. Because it wasn't like a club. You know, some clubs, like house calls, you're like, watch the DJ, right? Like, that's the vibe. This was to like a dance club.
Right.
I'm like in the corner, like, I can't remember what club it was. It's just, I guess not typical, but
you were creeping in the corner.
I always do. I'm just watching.
No, I do that too. I mean, that's how I learned how to DJ, was from watching people DJ.
Yeah.
Just being able to get like a good view of the booth, or if you know the guy, you can be in the booth.
Yep.
But then you gotta like learn how to maneuver in there, you know? It gets
Yeah.
weird if you're just standing there watching and you're not like dancing or participating in any way or like adding to anything.
Just like an inanimate object standing there. No, I definitely agree with that. I'm not like, whenever I'm in the DJ booth, I'm not like some like
There's some people that'll be like, you know, oh, can I, you like younger kids or whatever, can I come watch you DJ? Can I be in the DJ booth? And I'm always like, yeah, for sure. And then I always regret it.
Yeah.
Because they're just like weird in there. They just stand there with like
Killing the
no
vibe.
social abilities whatsoever.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of social skills,
Yeah.
which I'm not saying about you. I'm sure you have a
say,
ton
like,
of social
I
skills.
feel like I have social
You
skills.
for sure do, yeah.
I think that particular instance was really weird because, I don't know, maybe I was extra weird that day. But typically, whenever I'm in the scene, you know, I just pop in and out and see what's up. But
I like to have a bucket of long drinks, you know. Anyone that comes in the booth, I gotta get them drunk so they're a little more fun and loose.
oh, nice.
I'm a pusher, really, is what it is.
Of alcohol.
Yeah.
Here, have one. You need one.
There's actually a bunch of DJs who don't drink in the city.
Yeah, you get to a certain age and that's what happens. You gotta stop drinking.
You're like,
I'm almost there, I think, unfortunately. It's coming soon.
well, then we'll try. Like, you know, you can like share your drink. Don't you, like? I feel like DJs typically get 3 free drinks or something like that from the venue.
No, you get 300 free drinks.
Oh, okay.
There's once you're like established, once you have DJ'd all the places and you know everybody, all the drinks are
Forever.
free and they don't ever stop coming. They're constantly coming. Shots, drinks, whatever
right.
you want, bottles.
Even if you're a terrible DJ, that's at least some like
It's something to look forward to,
something
sure.
to look forward to. Keep on.
He's a terrible DJ, but it's for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just start like a whole generation of people into the DJ industry just for that, just to like party.
Yeah, I have a really hard time paying for alcohol now that I've been given it for free for years.
Yeah.
Like man, maybe that's my Jew brain. I don't know, but I just have a really hard time paying for alcohol. I'm like, they give this shit away
all the time.
for free like it's water.
Yeah. But you're a vibe curator. It's
Yeah.
different. You're necessary.
A DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So like a Joe Schmo is, you know, they're not getting the free drinks.
No. They got to pay for them.
They do.
This is a me exclusive.
Yeah. This is a DJ strategy exclusive.
No, yeah, you gotta be a good time up there.
Yeah.
It's more than just playing music, unfortunately.
Well, those people, they do really well on Twitch. If you're just about music, there's so many people who are like, I just want to play and just groove. And then they make a lot of money on Twitch.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah.
And like, well, nah, because I feel like you gotta interact with the chat.
Yeah, but there are some DJs who don't.
They just completely ignore the chat.
Yeah.
And they're still
Maybe they don't
it.
do as well, but they don't necessarily have to because they're tour DJs or like they have residencies.
Okay.
Like there's all types of DJs that are on there.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed a DJ who I realized after doing the interview that I had already met when I was way younger and like partied with. And I was like, oh man, I know this guy. But I didn't want to blow up his spot because he didn't bring it up either. I'm like, I knew him when I was 18.
From Chicago?
From Pittsburgh.
From Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was really funny.
That's tight.
Well, he didn't remember. So.
It's mostly it's pretty fuzzy memories in the club.
Yeah. I guess I think I have a really good memory then because I'd just be remembering. Like even Arturo's face, I'm like, I know that guy. How do I know that guy? But now that you're saying that, oh, he ran underground, that makes sense to me. Even like, I feel like even DJ Flipside, I had interviewed him, and I think that I also probably met him like back in the day as well.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, this guy looks so familiar. But
Flipside's the man.
yeah, he is. He's a good guy. Very talented. He helped a lot of people actually on Twitch. Learn how to DJ.
A very helpful dude. He's one of the like DJ community guys that you can go to for help, and he's like happy to help and give back, you know, which is a huge part of DJing.
That's what a couple of my respondents had said specifically about him. So that was cool. And I had seen some of his Twitch episodes where he was just teaching people how to DJ and like breaking things down. Boy Genius did the same thing, but their personalities are very different. So
very different, yes. We got to get Boy Genius back in here. Okay, no. Diamond Cut's excited. Like 3 days of extra work for him.
I love the guy. I've known him for the longest time, but just sometimes working with him can be a little bit difficult. Video-wise, at least.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. He likes to get going. And it doesn't help that I like to instigate him a little bit. I'm an instigator.
I would like to be in the
sure.
room when he's here, and then I can be a female figure in the space.
Okay.
See what's going on.
I'm down.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Anything for hip hop.
Can you be in the room with weed smoke?
Yes.
Do you get drug tested as a professor?
No.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You just got an idea. You're just like, oh.
You could become a professor.
I took a DJ class at Columbia one year, and then I found out that Zebo used to teach it at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really want to take a class. I feel like RSTS. Am I saying
Artist?
Yeah. I feel like he teaches, doesn't he? Or he used to?
Maybe
private lessons, I think is what he used.
Private, probably. And then did he do the Scratch Academy?
For a while.
He might have done the Scratch Academy.
Yeah, I feel like somebody like recently there was like a graduation or something, and he was like showing off students, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to DJ.
Yeah, but he knows a lot.
Yeah, no, I saw him perform for Lunar New Year at Money Gun.
Yeah, dude's insane.
Yeah, he's fun.
Every time I watch him.
Money Gun through a Lunar New Year party? Mm-hmm. Was that on that was like a Monday night or something, right? Or was it a weekend?
Monday or Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah, Soho House through any Lunar New Year party in Chicago I was trying to be at.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes.
I need a Lunar New Year gig.
Yes, you do.
Is it fucked up if a white guy does it?
It might. Do you celebrate Lunar New Year?
No, but I'm trying to get this money.
I mean, you better start celebrating it then. Yeah, no, I feel like for Lunar New Year, that's like definitely a lot of Asian DJs are out there for it.
I would imagine.
And then there's Zach.
Yeah.
Come on! Just come on through. It's all right.
Trying to get this Lunar New Year money.
Yeah, I mean, it's some good money. There's a lot of money in the Asian community.
Don't they throw money around for that or no? Isn't there something where they throw singles?
No, it's more like this. Like you get an envelope in the Chinese culture, but I'm Korean, so we actually don't do envelopes. You have to bow and then you get money.
Is Lunar New Year all of Asia? I thought it was just Chinese.
No, it's not.
It's
so
all
there's
of Asia.
Chinese New Year. And then we Koreans celebrate Solal, which is also the Lunar New Year time. Like everything's the same day, but we just call it different things.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. It's like Christmas and Hanukkah.
Yeah,
they're pretty close, right? They're celebrated
they're
at the same
you're
time.
Celebrating completely
but you're
different
celebrating
things.
at the same time.
No, but like our New Year in America is January 1st.
Yeah.
And then like Lunar New Year or like Chinese or Solal is like different
Is
days.
it only Asia that celebrates it, or are there other cultures as well?
I don't know. I only know it from the Asian culture.
Right.
So
we'll have to get Fawn on here to ask. He'll know.
What ethnicity is this person?
He's Vietnamese.
Okay, so he's part of the Asian culture. You need somebody non-Asian.
But I feel like he has a good
Vietnamese definitely
knowledge.
are celebrating Lunar New Year.
Yeah, he's got like the dragon costume on and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, 100%.
Do the Philippines?
Yes, Philippines definitely is celebrating. Yeah, and like work shuts down in Asia during this time because it's like family time. So It's a big deal.
When is it?
This year it was like, I want to say that maybe like January 29th to February 12th or something like that. It was like a long period.
Oh, it's not one day.
Yeah, that's just like depends on your culture. Yeah. Koreans celebrate on one day.
Is it always the same day, or is
no,
it
it will just change depending on like what's happening with the moon.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Because of lunar.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel like
It's not like
Chinese get down.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the last Thursday of every
What's going on with turkeys?
or Groundhog Day. No, that's always the same. I feel like, but yeah. Anyway, artist, great dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've had him on the pod as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he. I mean, that guy was an innovator in the digital space before Twitch. I think this is while Twitch was still Justin TV, probably.
Oh, really?
I remember watching Cuts on Ustream, which was him and Shazam Bangles and Moppy, just
I don't know all those
cutting records.
That's cool. That's what I'm saying. Like, DJs are always innovative. They're always involved in technology.
He's pretty funny too, though. I don't know if you saw the post that he had going on with I think it was the producer DJ named Black Woman.
Black Woman, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh man, I saw his post and I was like sending it to my friends and I'm like, what is this?
Is it wrong that doesn't like affect me at all?
Well, no,
Like, I don't give a shit if her name's
a
Black
white,
Woman.
Okay, a white guy saying that it doesn't affect him, that's not.
But I think the way she went about it was the funnier part, though. It wasn't the fact that her name was Black Woman. Is that she had a different name similar to that, and then I guess like something happened on the internet where it caused her to say, "Oh, due to whatever, I had to change it," and then changed it to just Black Woman. So she changed it for the worst. And then she ended up just changing it back. It was like this whole back and forth thing, and it was just the hilarity of it, pretty much. But I think
She was a white chick that named herself Black Woman. Yeah.
But that's like, what about like DJ Susan is a man who's not named Susan? Like, would a woman, is that offensive to the females?
I thought,
you know what I'm saying?
If my name
like,
was Susan, no, just kidding.
I find that offensive.
But like, you know, is that not the same? It's like,
I don't know. Okay, so this is outside of like names. I saw something on a brand. I think it was like Anthropology or something, and they named something kimchi, whatever. Kimchi is a Korean dish.
Delicacy.
Not a delicacy.
Vegetable
for sure. It's like fermented cabbage.
Yeah.
But it's definitely Korean culture, and I'm like, these people have, and it's red. Okay, like it's like a red color. This thing that they had named kimchi whatever was green. And I'm like, you guys can't even get our colors right. Like,
but what was it?
That's
like a
cultural
shirt?
appropriation.
Was it a shirt?
Something. It might as well have been. Like, it doesn't matter. You're now using like a cultural food item to name your shirt. It just was like, I don't know. At least get the color right. Like, be respectful.
But there had to be some reason that they called it kimchi.
Probably because it's cool to be Korean right now. It's very in with K-pop.
Yep. The James.
But there had to be they couldn't have just been like, all right, guys, we got this shirt coming out. What's a good name for it?
Yes, they did. 100%.
There had to be at least one other. There had to be like a
made in Korea.
Something that was the reason they called it kimchi.
Well,
I can't imagine that they were just like, yeah, kimchi's good. Let's do that.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's insane.
Because they did.
That's insane.
But that's the same thing with this name. It's like cultural appropriation in the sense that this white woman is now calling herself Black Woman, and then like, she had a ton of followers too.
She was big in the area. I forgot what.
But
picture this was in.
What is Black Woman even? What is that?
Not
Where did it come from?
Not that artist.
Where did it come from? What is the context of it? Like, there's got to be. Was it funny? Was it like what? I
think she was trying to be ironic, but like, to your point, I actually don't know like the backstory to any of these things.
Because there has to be. There's like, you know what I mean? It's not like she was like, fuck these black people, I'm gonna be Black Woman. You know what I mean? Like,
right. No,
there has to be
in her caption she said like, I don't see color. Automatically that's a red flag for me.
But like, I don't know. I personally just feel like all of this shit is so crazy now and blown out of proportion, and like it's just a reason for people to be upset. It gives people something to be mad about because a lot of people enjoy being mad. Or like,
I don't like to be mad.
But see,
you don't seem like you like to be mad.
I don't.
There is another DJ named DJ Black Woman who is a black woman from the Bay Area, so I think that might have also been.
Yeah, maybe if she was stealing the woman's name, that's a different thing. But like, I don't know. What if she felt on the inside like she was a black woman and she wanted to express that?
That's
to
Rachel
people?
Dozier person.
Yeah, Dolezal.
Like whatever that. Like, that actually happened, and it didn't end well for her. Yeah, that's appropriation. I don't know. I think they're just cultural studies would tell you otherwise. There are reasons to be upset about it.
Yeah, but like, what is it doing? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm gonna share some books with you.
I don't read a lot.
A podcast.
I don't know if you could tell.
A podcast. I will ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT.
Okay, let's ask. Let's see what ChatGPT says.
Why would it be?
Is it wrong for a white female DJ to call herself Black Woman?
I wish I could record the screen right now.
Yes, it would generally be considered inappropriate and misleading for a white female DJ to call herself Black Woman. Mm-hmm. It could be seen as cultural appropriation, misrepresentation, or even deceptive branding. If the intent is to pay homage to Black culture or music, there are more respectful ways to do so without assuming an identity that isn't hers.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But isn't the whole thing like...
Yup.
Like, okay. Would it... I want to be careful.
Thinking over there.
I want to be careful with what I say because...
It's not going to get clipped.
I don't have enough care inside of me to really like care how things come out of my mouth.
It's not your battle then. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, but like battle. Also isn't the whole thing of like white people is like everyone is mad because they feel like they're not accepted by them?
No.
Like, don't, like, black people are like, we're getting denied at the door because we're black, or we're not let in here because we're black, or they don't like this because Serena Williams can't crip walk at the tennis match because it's black and tennis is white. Like, isn't that the whole thing? Isn't that the basis of the whole
No, those
reason
are discriminatory
people are upset?
Practices that you're listing off. That's not the basis of the issue. Those are like, those are kind of like a result of structural inequality that exists in America. And we're just talking about like American. This woman wasn't even from America though. Isn't she South African?
Is she Australian or something?
South African or Australian?
And if that's the case, that's even worse because of apartheid. I mean, not even worse, but like on the same brand.
Like, I just feel like
there is history to this, my friend.
Of course there's history, but
it's not
everyone
just about being let into a club.
But everyone has a history. Like, if you want to talk about history, there's the history of the entire world. At some point, everybody was a victim of some sort of oppression by another group of people.
That's fair, but specifically here in the United States of America is very specific type of people who have been on the end of oppression.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so.
But like.
And it wasn't that long ago.
It was
not that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago, but like. I had nothing to do with that.
Nobody's saying that you had something to do with it.
Well, I think there's a lot of people arguing that I had something to do with it because I'm white.
I am going to make an announcement. I too am white.
How much?
I'm 50%. My dad is white and my mom's Korean.
Okay.
And
I get it.
I not that I get it, but I think that I have a different, like, are you just straight up like your family is
Well,
X, Y, or Z?
Jewish is what I really am.
Okay.
Like, culturally, right? If I have any sort of culture in me,
So that's
it's
so
Jewish.
interesting that this is like, you just can't understand what people who are oppressed might feel.
Well, I think the whole thing is that, like, my entire family was a victim of oppression at one point. Both of my dad's parents survived the Holocaust. They both went through it and survived it.
That's actually really like a powerful statement. But for you to not to be like, well, I'm white, like, no, you're Jewish, man. Like,
I mean, yeah, I'm Jewish, but like, I'm also white.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's my whole thing is, like, I don't really, like, we've all been something has happened to all of us. And I'm not.
It's not the same. Your
What do you mean?
oppression that you feel right now, because you might be Jewish, but you're white, right? You're like white passing these things. Like, people don't recognize you and be like, whatever. They're not saying something to you that might be offensive right off the gate.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you're going to be let into a club, maybe because you're the DJ, but there are certain things that are happening to people who just from existing are feeling oppression. Their presence make people uncomfortable for whatever reason. Typically it's media representation of these people, or like stereotypes that have been generated that certain institutions keep pushing out to be a certain way. I mean, all oppression is not the same.
I mean, yeah, but also, like,
Even in the Asian community, like, it's not the same.
How so?
I'm Korean. People feel like different about Koreans because of the Korean War, or even like your experience, like how people have immigrated here, right? Like, I feel like even if you look at history in certain, well, now we're getting into historical context.
But that's my whole thing is, like, everybody has a thing. Everybody has some sort of barrier, some sort of block, some sort of, and some might be more than others.
Yeah,
that's
my point, though.
But in
than
certain
others.
spaces or contexts or times or, like, everything, it's not just one thing. And like, it's not just one, it's all contextual and dependent upon what the situation is. It's all situational. It's all different. And everybody has a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not everybody has a thing, though, but I do believe that it is contextual and situational depending on who you are and where you're at.
Yeah. And it's just part of life is dealing with adversity. And of course, some people
for some
get
people,
it worse.
it's not really a thing for them,
For
which
sure
would be
it is.
white males are typically not feeling the same adversity that other folks are.
I think they are, but not in a race context. You know what I mean?
You can do socioeconomics. We can talk about class. That's different.
Class is for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I have a really great piece I'm going to share with you that I taught my students because I teach digital communication and society at Loyola. And I shared with them this one piece. It's a short piece. And it talks about...
What's short? How short?
It's like
How many
2.5
paragraphs?
pages. No, it's pretty short. And it talks about how... it talks about privilege and the experience of the white male being basically the setting of... like the highest setting in a game. Like, your setting is different than other people's settings.
Yeah, but sometimes that's not the best thing in the world.
I'm going to send you the piece.
Like, sure, maybe it's easier for them to move throughout the world, but then what do you get from that?
You get to move throughout the world easier.
But you don't get to create cool stuff. You don't get to experience.
Yes, you can.
Like, sure, you can.
It changes. It just allows. It's just like a base level. Like, your experience is always going to be different.
Like, okay, so if you want to put it in the context of a video game, the white male is up here with all of these attributes, right? But then they're also losing stuff. Like, any character you select has, maybe their speed is really high, but their strength is not as high. Mm-hmm. And maybe their agility is really high, and then their mobility is not as high. Like, for every increase, there's a decrease. There's a balance.
Sure.
So to be able to move throughout the world unfazed sounds lovely, but it's like
not
not
that
a real
unfazed.
thing.
It's not
a
to
real
act like white
thing.
males never experience adversity ever, but the adversity is going to be different.
It's different, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody
And it can be due
experiences
to
it, but
like
it's different.
class, like social class.
That's my whole
like
point.
things like that nature. Yeah, I would never be like, oh, you know, white guys never experience anything, white women never experience anything. That's not true. But it is a different kind of experience, specifically here in the United States of America, because of things like slavery or the Exclusion Acts or the concentration camps for Japanese people, or how Chinese workers were here building the railroads and nobody ever paid attention or like gave them credit in the 1800s. Like, we can talk about it from the history of our country being built.
For sure.
Like, that didn't just go away.
Of course.
It just got built upon. And yeah, people forget things, but that's why we have to relearn things so that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and it's about relearning and understanding what the reality is that actually happened, not condemning a different group for what happened.
Do you, feel like do you feel like you're condemned?
100%.
That's so interesting. In what
100%.
aspects is that happening for you?
I mean, and again, this was like the beginning we talked about, just getting information digitally and in small bits and out of context and like whatever the algorithms pushing your way and making you see and all of that. I personally feel the least connected with other people than I've ever felt in my whole life. Like when I was a child, I have friends of every color, every culture, everything, and our differences were never even a thought. We just enjoyed life together. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, you must understand this person, and if you don't think about what you're doing around them, you are wrong and offending them, and like it's just a whole thing. It's like,
wait, so you're telling me you've offended a lot of people?
I constantly offend people because I really don't give a shit, because if you're offended, that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, not being able to control your own emotions is your own thing. Now, if I offend somebody and they're like, hey, this is a thing and don't do that, and like we can have a conversation, sure, I'm not going to be like, no, go fuck yourself. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean it like that, but now I know. And that's fine. And that's learning, and that's growing.
Of people. That's not just white people doing that, right? Like, all cultures are very different, and you're not going to just be born knowing everything about somebody's culture.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But my whole point is that we all go through things, and to have it easier in one section is definitely at some point going to make it harder in another. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know when you say. Okay, explain that a little.
To be the white male that doesn't get looked at twice walking into a grocery store like they're going to steal something is like, fine, whatever, awesome. But
it is
also to be a black person and get looked at like you're going to steal something in the grocery store. I don't like, that's just it's what you have to deal with and how you learn how to move around it, and that's fine. And like,
yeah, but black children shouldn't have to deal with that, right? Like a white child versus a black child in their experience, if you have them in the same room and this child is able to go ahead about their day freely without being surveilled or harassed or whatever might be happening to them just because they're white, versus this other child who then has to deal with like all these stressors that might come across with dealing with surveillance or being, you know, whatever it might be. Like, that's not fair. That's what we're talking about when we talk about like equity. If we want to bring in things like that, it's not equitable. That's not fair.
But what's fair?
For both kids then to be able to walk through without being surveilled and just like followed because you're going to steal something.
Make that? How do you make that happen? What's the solution to that?
I think education about different cultures and learning that just because your skin tone might be one way doesn't make you like a thief. If we're talking about that context.
Yeah, I mean, like,
right.
And
like removing biases. Yeah.
So to say that, like, just because you're black doesn't mean you're going to steal something. And to teach that is great. That's because it's true, right? Like, that's fantastic.
I knew a lot of white girls that stole lots of things at the mall.
Yeah, I steal from Whole Foods to this day.
You're surveilling the wrong people.
Like,
no, but sometimes it's like allows for other people to be able to get away with things.
Yeah. I'm just like, my whole thing is like, yes, that, like, I grew up learning treat everybody nicely and it doesn't matter what you look like.
That's a good way to grow up.
Now I feel like they're teaching we need to tip the scales. It's not everybody's even. It's like these people have not been even long enough. So we got to bring these people down to bring these people up. That's what it feels like it's being taught right now, which that is what I'm trying to say is, I think, wrong. I think teaching that everybody's equal is the way to do it.
As somebody that's an educator in the system, this has never been the case, and this is also not the case.
What do you mean?
But it's like you're saying, like, everybody, that there has been equality in our history.
I'm not saying that there has been. There definitely hasn't been, but there should be, and I feel like we're definitely getting there. I think the proof in the fact that, like, we've had a black president and all of these other things.
One out of all, and no female presidents.
Well, that's a different issue.
That's a different issue.
But what's wrong with one? Is that not at least a very good proof that, like,
no,
things are happening?
No. I mean, I think that we're going into a whole different topic with politics, and that.
Well, I don't want to talk. I don't know anything about politics.
Yeah, I would love to come in
but
for another talk about all of these things.
Sure, if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not educated in this at all, which I'm sure you could tell, but, like, I'm just going based off of my reality.
Yeah,
my eyeballs.
I think that is the education, right? Like, your reality is showing your education in these spaces, and I think that a lot of people think the same way that you do. And it's okay to have different opinions about things, but you should become more educated so that your voice, like, you're giving, like, a more realistic perspective of
what's
happening.
more realistic than what I see with my eyeballs? There's nothing more realistic than that.
Yeah, that's your realistic perspective, but your experience is different because you show up in this world as a white man.
But I also can see that, like, okay,
we live in a white supremacist patriarchal society, and you are at the top of that space. And if you're saying that you're worried that people are teaching otherwise, then that means that you love your privilege in that space, and you're not really wanting it to become equal.
I definitely would love it to become equal, and I think that it is pretty damn close. I mean, like, what? How is it not? I don't understand.
You can look at the data. The data shows that it's not close. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about even like how much money a white male makes compared to, like, any other ethnicity, or like for the same job. Like, there's so many data points.
Okay, what about the NFL? How many white guys are making more money than black guys?
A ton. First of all, I don't even watch the NFL because I am not here for any of the things that they do, especially when it comes to brain damage and what they're doing to help these men with the CRT. Like, I gave up the NFL like 10 years ago after becoming, not even, maybe longer, when I became a mom of a man. Like, that's not cool. I don't like that. I don't support that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
I don't know. What's the NBA? How about that?
Yeah, I don't know sports for me.
But I think there's a lot more.
I'll stick with DJs.
There's a ton of. Okay, even in DJing, there's a ton of black dudes making money, and there's a ton of white dudes making money. Like, what's the issue?
I mean, yeah.
That's a very, I think. Like,
I don't know. All I know is, like, what I see with my eyes. I see a lot of black people doing very well, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
That's incredible, and I think that's exactly how it should be. And I think that that's not accounted for in this talk of like white versus black.
But that's the problem. It shouldn't be structured white versus black. Like, I think right there becomes like the talk. That shouldn't be the talking point.
What's the talking point?
First of all, Asians should be involved. No, just kidding. No, when you say versus, it's like opposition, and it shouldn't be that there's an opposition between the races.
I feel that's exactly how I feel. I don't think it should be that way either. Maybe I should stop using that word, white and black. Yeah. I don't think there should be an opposition at all. And I understand everyone has their issues, but that's what life is. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is, you're never going to get the perfect life. You're never going to be born into, just because you're white doesn't mean that you don't face anything, or like, you know,
I don't think that's the argument. The argument, though, is that structurally in this country, because it was created in a space that had folks enslaved, like from the gate, right? Or like the removal of people who had already lived here, speaking of on Native Americans, right? Like, and just the obliteration of communities and acting like they didn't even exist. That's what America is built on. And so to recognize that and to understand, like, that doesn't just go away.
That's what the world is built on, though. That's human.
But we can't address everything, right? We're talking about where we live currently and our, like, as Americans.
Yeah.
And like taking accountability for our history and recognizing it and accepting, like, yeah, we did some shitty things. Like, our forefathers did some shitty things that built this country. And like, how do we now, as adults, rectify that? Like, how do we go ahead and say, like, okay, we recognize that that wasn't good, and then how do we make things good? But
I think it's very easy to see that those weren't good and things are a million times better.
It depends on who you are in this world, though. In America today, it's not a million times better. If you go down, you know, what's that street over there that has, like, there's the homeless encampments, the unhoused folks, right? Like, It's not good for them. You have all races people there, right?
It's not great, but also, like,
that's socioeconomic situation. Disregarding race. There's all types of people there.
Yeah. But the race thing, I think we're doing so much better in America than any other country. Is there another country that you look at that you're like, they really got it? Like, they understand. We're trying to be like them.
I don't know personally.
I don't think there is. I think we're leading the charge.
If that's the case, I'm really sad.
But that's what I'm saying. People want to be victims and like be like, oh my God, it's so bad here. But like, let's look outside of here. I think we're leading the charge.
No, I don't think so.
But it's different though, because it's like the same way in Mexico as well too. In Mexico, there's the indigenous Mexican people that are on there. Then there's the more northern region Mexican side of things, which they're like more like white and everything on there. I think it's different, the level of, I guess for lack of a better word, racism over in Mexico than it is here in the United States. Because chances are, yeah, there is probably division between all races everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. But it becomes class.
It is different by their economy, way of living. It's kind of
history.
Yeah, it's the same history from America is not the same history that Mexico, or Brazil, or any other place with multiple.
It's not apples to apples. It's not apples to apples.
So what a black person can experience here in America, they may experience it differently in another region. It isn't going to be the same level of racism here than it is on Australia or England or shit, even Japan if you're going out that far too.
Right. Well, even, I mean, Korea has its own types of issues, but that becomes more like classist.
Yeah, or like don't Korean people and Japanese people have big beef from history?
Yeah, because of their imperial, the Japanese took over.
Right.
For a while.
Yeah. So like, that's what I'm saying. I think that we're doing better than a lot of other places
It's
in
not,
terms
it's
of
not about
coming
better
together.
or worse. It's different. That's what I'm saying. It's not apples to apples.
I just truly believe that we're doing fantastically here.
Okay, so as a researcher, I research specific things. Like I do a lot of my research is on like hip hop, clearly, right? So Black culture, Black communities. I also do a lot of research in anything that deals with like communication and technology. And so currently the administration has removed certain words and we can't get funding anymore. And there's a whole list of words that were released, and the like basically it would be like woman, female, Black, diversity, things like that. Words that are not on there are white and male.
I don't understand.
We can't get funding for our research if we use these certain terms right now from the administration.
What administration?
The Trump administration that's currently here has stopped all funding for research for universities if they use certain words in their research. So for me, for instance, I talk about Black and brown folks, people of color, hip hop. I'm talking about music and culture.
Yeah.
Right. So based off of what's happening, I wouldn't be able to get funding if I was getting state funding.
So, but like what kind of research are you doing? Like,
so my research was on Twitch, right? And what was happening in that cultural space.
Yeah.
So
what kind of funding do you need for that?
Well, if you get a PhD, for instance, you're typically being funded. Like my job was to do research. My job continues to be doing research. There's a lot of money that goes through government for all the different universities. They all get tons of funding. The government funds all the state schools.
Right.
If they have anything that deals with anything that is structured under diversity currently, or woman, feminism, like just anything there's like a whole list of words. The Trump administration is saying like, we're not going to give you money.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why?
I do not know why. Well, I have my reason. I think so.
I would imagine, if I had to take a guess, it's because they're not enjoying the way that universities are teaching things at the moment, or have been for the last however many years.
So like what?
Just like exactly the conversation that we're having. Like I'm from the way that it looks for me, it looks like people are not going for the equality thing. They're going for we need to tip the scales in favor of one group because of the way they've been treated for so many years. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. In a
I mean, I don't know if we should really talk about much about that, because then that leads into like it's getting a little too political. You sure you want to put it on there?
I mean, I'm just saying what I'm guessing, my best guess for why this would be happening. That's my best guess. If you ask me why I think they were doing that, that's what I would say.
There's a lot of research that happens. So what I'm saying about white and male not being on that list of things, it's very much leading research in a very specific way, and that is a white supremacist patriarchal way.
So you think that they are trying to now, is this getting back to
this is
a certain
all research
place?
This is all research. This is all universities across the United States right now.
So that, like, you're not going to be able to teach about slavery? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, that's what they're trying to get rid of for classes. That if you have something that has the word slavery in it or enslaved,
you can't teach about
you're
it.
not. They will not give you funding for schools, for public schools right now. You have 2 weeks to remove these things.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't
like
sound,
that should be sounding the
that
alarm
doesn't
for
sound
people.
right to me.
It should be sounding
That
not
definitely doesn't
to say
sound
like
right.
Oh, because you're like, I agree with you that it shouldn't be like, it should be equitable for everybody, right? Like I would say I'm a feminist. A feminist believes in equality all the way around.
Right.
Like, I would never say that a white male is not oppressed in the sense specifically due to things like socioeconomic standards. And there's so many things. There's so many things that are going on in this world, in this country, in the United States in particular. But I also know that structurally it has been created in a way that certain people are left out of the conversation. And that's what they're trying to currently do right now. So, like, even thinking about, like, things like elementary school and what you're taught in elementary school, like, they're focused on funding for all schools across the board.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It sounds fucked up. If that's true, where they're, like, trying to really remove the teachings of history in this country, that would be insane. Yeah. For sure. That would be fucked up. 100%.
We went totally off the rails.
Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, whatever. That's kind of what a podcast is, right? We're just having a conversation. It goes wherever it leads. And I'm not like I'm not a teacher in any sort of way. So I'm not trying to put my views onto anybody. I'm just, all I can talk about is what I see and what I feel, and that's it.
I'm going to send you that piece to read.
Okay.
I think it will be helpful.
Read it. I don't know. I'll check it out.
Okay. It's a good piece. It's super simple.
Okay.
Okay.
But I do, speaking of black people, I do have a black man coming here for a podcast at 3:00. So we have to wrap it up.
Oh my God. Why is it 2:49? Oh my God. Why have we been talking so long? This is why.
Because it got interesting, and we were talking about, real life shit.
Oh my gosh. All right.
It's what it is.
Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
We got a doctor now. We just need a lawyer to be here as well too.
Yeah, we'll get
a lawyer.
Yeah.
We've had a lawyer.
We've had a lawyer on here too. So now a doctor and a lawyer.
Yeah, I have to pee again though. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. Algorithm activating activity. Let's go, champ. Peace.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.